Hello, I'm Dr. Terry Orsi, American terrorism subject matter expert. Before I get started talking to you about our next terrorist, I would like to ask you to please subscribe to my channel so you do not miss any future videos. And I also want to take a moment to say that identifying a terrorist before an attack happens is one of the most difficult tasks our FBI faces. They compare it to finding a needle in a stack of needles. But that is exactly what they did to stop Nojan Sullivan from carrying out his murderous plot. It took an incredible level of cooperation and collaboration between local, state, and federal law enforcement agencies. Nojan Sullivan was a shy and socially awkward teen. In 2012, when he was just 16 years old, his parents, a retired Marine captain, and his Filipino wife, hoped moving from Michigan to Morganton, North Carolina would help. It did not. Spending time alone in his room with his computer and his phone, Sullivan discovered the Islamic State, or ISIS, and this was around September 2014. And he would later remark, "I liked ISIS from the beginning. Then I started thinking about death and stuff, became a Muslim." Unlike many other ISIS enthusiasts in the United States, Sullivan never seemed to want to join the group abroad. Instead, he harbored a more grandiose scheme. He wanted to set up the Islamic State of North America, or ISNA. Sullivan was also in contact with encouraging and supportive cyber coaches working for ISIS in the Middle East. In particular, one was Nojan Sullivan. Sullivan found himself on the FBI's radar after a 911 call that his father made after Sullivan started pouring gasoline on some of their Buddhas and figurines, and the father said, "We're scared to leave the house." In the background of this 911 call, Sullivan can be heard pointing out that he had destroyed religious and non-religious items and said, "What are you trying to say, that I'm a terrorist?" It did not take long for the FBI to start watching Sullivan's activities online, and as part of that process, an operative, and this is in early June of 2015, posed as a potential recruit to Sullivan's cause, getting in touch with him and working his way into the young man's confidence. Court records indicated that Sullivan told the undercover agent via social media that it would be better to stay in the United States rather than travel abroad, and suggested that the undercover agent obtained weapons and said he was planning to buy a semi-automatic AR-15 rifle at the upcoming gun show in Hickory, North Carolina. On or about June 20, 2015, Sullivan did attempt to purchase hollow point ammunition to be used with the weapon he intended to purchase. Sullivan said to the agent, "Just kill a few people so I know that you're serious. And wear a mask, do it at night, and I'll kill a few people this month. And by the way, I want a car bomb." Sullivan also said to the undercover agent, "Our attacks need to be as big as possible, but we can do minor assassinations before the big attack, for training." And then in another note, he said, "Our attack will be next month. I'll be doing shooting of my own before this. I'm excited." The court records indicated that Sullivan had researched on the internet how to manufacture firearm silencers, and then he asked the undercover agent to build some functional silencers so that he could plan to carry out his attack, which he hoped it would be in a few days, and he wanted to do a concert or a bar or a club, and he hoped to kill as many as 1,000 people using an assault rifle and the silencer. So when the silencer did show up at his home, at Sullivan's home, his mother opened up the package and his parents questioned him about the silencer. Sullivan, believing the parents would be interfering with his plans to carry out the attack, asked the undercover agent to kill his parents and said he would compensate the undercover agent for doing so. Triggered by Sullivan's parental death threats as communicated to his other cyber collaborator, the FBI arrested the 18-year-old before he could get to the gun show or to his still-to-be-determined terrorism target. When the agents arrived, Sullivan tried to delete the conversations he had had with his two terrorist contacts from his phone. According to information contained in the court documents, starting no later than September 2014, Sullivan sought out and downloaded violent ISIS attacks on the internet, such as beheadings, and collected them on his personal laptop. Court records indicated that Sullivan openly expressed support for ISIS in his home and destroyed religious items that belonged to his parents. He apparently wasn't on investigators' radar until April, when his father called 911 to report that he was destroying Buddha figurines and had doused the religious objects with gasoline. The court also announced its reasons for accepting the agreed-on life sentence. The court noted that Sullivan's plan to murder innocent civilians at a social gathering was similar to the Orlando Pulse nightclub attack in 2016. According to the court, Sullivan's plan, however, was more sinister because he planned to use stealth, including a mask to hide his identity and a silencer to kill as many as possible, with the hope to escape and kill again. The court found that Sullivan's offense was cold and calculating. But here's the twist. On December 17th, when his parents were away, Sullivan had stolen a .22 caliber rifle from his father's locked gun cabinet and masked, went to a nearby home of John Bailey Clark, a disabled 74-year-old, picked the lock and killed the sleeping man, who he said was a hermit. He was a nobody. He was nothing. With 3 bullets to the head, he then dragged the body outside, stripped it naked, and buried it in a shallow grave. Sullivan may have killed the old man for money so that he could purchase that rifle. After his arrest, he said that the $689 in his possession had come from Clark. Sullivan also said the murder was done as practice for killing his father. Investigators said Sullivan also initially gave false statements about the December 2014 murder of his neighbor. However, forensic testing did show that the .22 caliber rifle hidden by Sullivan was used to kill Clark. How does Sullivan fit the profile? He was identified as a male. 93% of the American terrorists identify as male. He was 21 years old. 35% of the American terrorists were between the ages of 15 and 24. He was not college educated. 49% were not college educated. He was single. 78% of the American terrorists were single. He had a father, but wow, what kind of relationship did he have with him if he wanted to hire somebody to kill him? Middle-class parents, 18%. He lived in a non-birth location. And lastly, angry, isolated, felt victimized. So based off of those stats, we could say that he was likely to be, he should have sent out many flags to the people around him to say that he had this potential. Thank you for listening, and I hope to see you again.